what's up? It's Toni. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to The Breakdown. The Breakdown is where I give my full commentary about the documentary that I watched from Documentary Friday from the week before. Let's get right into it. First of all, let me say this. The level of lying that I am seeing exhibited in these last several documentaries should be studied. It is just wild how people's minds work. I just can never quite say, like, I find myself looking at them going, now, baby, why you lie about that? You know, you could have stopped before you got to that point. But it just keeps going further and further. Shout out to Netflix, because the last few months, they've been putting out some real quality documentaries. So the documentary for today is called A Toxic Love Story. And that it is. So here's the thing. I got questions. I don't know if I need to keep watching these documentaries because it's really starting to make me look everybody upside the head. It starts off coming from the eyes of a girl named Leslie. Leslie is friends with a guy named Ian. They work at Disney World together and they are BFFs. Not romantically involved, just platonic friends. They work together. They knew each other for 20 years, had a great relationship, great friendship. Leslie knew his girlfriends, his wife, you know, all the things. At some point, he had an opportunity to become a U.S. Marshal. This documentary starts off through her eyes. Ian meets a girl named Angela. Call her Angie. They hit it off. Angie moved in with him, I want to say they said 2 or 3 weeks. Ian said she was super cool, she was fun, all the things that a man would love in a girlfriend. So a few months in, Ian proposes to Angie. She moves in, finds out she's pregnant with twins. This is all within a span of a few months. And I'm like, you know, and here's the thing. I don't have a whole lot of judgment for that kind of thing, for that type of speed. You know why? Because it's kind of my story. I met my husband, and for the record, I've been married 22 years. I met my husband and we talked on the phone for several weeks. At week 3, he was like, I'm going to marry you. You might as well just start planning the wedding because I'm going to marry you, right? We're going to get married. I felt the same way about him, clearly. But when I think now about the fact that I had just met this man, he said we were going to get married, you know, that was the thing. I was really digging him. The fact that I really started planning a wedding, that's where I'd be like, girl, you need your head checked. Because what? Girl, why? Why? But that being said, I didn't just meet him just straight off the streets. Like, he came highly recommended. He had referrals from people I trust. My play cousin was his real cousin. And, you know, I was really tight with his family. So he came highly recommended. So that it wasn't just like I met this joker at the post office and I'm like, oh yeah, he seemed nice. It wasn't that type of situation. However, it is a little interesting, but I say all that to say, typically I'm just like, well, you know, I don't really have a lot of judgment for that because it's very similar to my own situation. We did not get married in 3 weeks or a month. We got married in a year, but we most certainly got engaged super duper duper early on. I waited a year because I wanted to kind of see, do I really like this dude? Is he crazy? Da, da, da. However, I digress. So he got engaged to the girl. She was pregnant with twins. So shortly after they moved in and got married, the wife started getting these random emails that were very disturbing. They were kind of on some, I see you out walking a dog every day. I know where you are. I know what you're doing. All of this stuff. She was writing from an email. The person was writing from an email that was Lilith something. It was like this whole backstory about Lilith. Like the devil was, it was somebody that got pregnant by the devil and they took the kids, whole thing, right? So very disturbing stuff. The new wife is kind of like, this is weird. What is going on? They couldn't figure out who it was. and what the issue was. As it moves on, the person in the email said, "You have my life," kind of like, "I'm coming back to get my life back. You won't steal my life." So the husband is like, "Oh, that's my ex-girlfriend." He had an ex-girlfriend 4 months before he met his wife. And the house that they live in, the house that the husband and wife live in, him and the ex-girlfriend bought together. Now, see, that's already an issue. That's one thing for him to move on fast and he engaged and got married. To be in a house that the two own together still, that's a bit much. That's a bit much, Ian. You're doing too much. This stuff just kept escalating. They started getting stuff in the mail with pictures of decapitated people and weird pictures of babies, just all of this weird stuff. They're calling the police and letting them know. It's another unique thing about this documentary is a lot of stuff that you typically don't have in other documentaries, like footage, was in this documentary. A lot of body cam footage and just other stuff. The story goes on, and they are kind of trying to figure out what it is. This guy's a U.S. Marshal. He's calling the police. He's letting them know, hey, this is what's going on. This girl is crazy. You need to lock her up. So they we really don't have any evidence, real evidence to be able to do an arrest warrant. So the next crazy thing that happens is somebody put an ad out for I'll just say, put out a ape fantasy listing, and they wanted to act out this fantasy. The ex-girlfriend responds to the ad and gives the new wife's name, address, and says, yeah, I want to do this. Come to my house. Don't knock. Just walk in. If I say stop, keep going. Just all of this weird stuff, crazy stuff, right? So the guy's like, oh, I'm down. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. I'm okay, cool. That guy's even in the documentary. The guy that put out the Craiglist thing, he's in the documentary. So anyway, he goes to the house and he's like, okay, cool, I'm walking. But when he gets there, because this is in a condo, like a building, when he gets there on the directory, it has a man's name. And he was like, oh, no, I don't know if that's a husband or boyfriend. I don't know if he don't know what's going on. They ain't gonna get me in here and kill me. So he just left, right? He was like, nah, never mind. But that gives them, more. So they go and they tell the police that. Police don't really, they're like, yeah, well, that's still not enough for us to arrest because we really don't know what's going on. Okay, cool. So the next day, or within that week, they call the police again. And they're like, you're never going to believe this. She's bugging out. The new wife is bugging out because somebody tried to walk up behind her and actually do the ape thing and kind of walked up and grabbed it. Now, when I'm looking at this girl tell this story on the body cam, I'm like, it kind of seemed like you lying, girl. Something about it she wasn't shook enough to me. She was like, and then he grabbed me from behind. Something like that happened. I would be shaking like a leaf. That's not just a simple little, it was a lot. And something about it wasn't ringing true. Stick a pin right there. They go backwards and go to 2013. And they are talking to her ex-boyfriend. This guy was a police, met Angela, the new wife, at a bar or something in Huntington Beach. They talked, hit it off. He was like, she was so cool. Because the ex-boyfriend is telling the story. He was like, super duper cool. All the things, fun, cute, just down for whatever. That's her demeanor. And he was like, man, I was really digging this girl. She's coming over and she tells him, I kind of hate my apartment. This is getting on my nerves. He was like, just move in with me. It's fine. Just move in with me. You over here all the time anyway. This is a few weeks, couple months into the relationship. At this point, you know what I'm saying? I know this happened before, but I'm thinking, oh, this chick just be needing a place to stay. Because, listen, As I said that me and my husband got engaged quickly and we got married within a year, what I didn't do is move in. I'm not move in. Like that just sounds like a lot. Moving in. Yeah, no, that sounds like a lot. She moved in, it was all good. Now here we go with this. Shortly after she moved in, she let him know that she had what, folks? Cervical cancer. Ah, really? That's awfully convenient. I'm telling you right now. I told my homegirl, I said, cancer probably somewhere like, how I keep getting in it? Why they keep putting it on me? She said, I just have cervical cancer. He was like, oh, that's okay. We're going to fight. It's not funny. He was like, we're going to fight and get through this together. And she's like, okay, whatever. He was like, I'll go with you to your chemo. You know what she said? No, you ain't got to do that. You don't have to come. I'm just going to see this through on my own. You don't have to come to chemo. You just go ahead and go to work. Yeah, no, it's something. Well, I was looking going, why do people keep, first of all, I grew up in a house where it's like, don't be speaking nothing that you don't want. Don't be talking about nothing. If you don't want cancer, death and life is in the power of the tongue. I don't know why y'all keep giving yourselves cancer. Pick something else. That's just way too serious. She decides, I got cancer. So he's like, it's okay, whatever. He's thinking, that she's, just wants to fight this thing on her own. So he kind of letting her do it. In the meantime, she meets another girl. It's like the homegirl. The homegirl is like, she is cool. She coming to her, the Angela girl is coming to her kids' baseball games and doing all of this stuff. She was like, she is so sweet. She's kind of helping her with stuff, with the cancer stuff, coming over to the house. She had lost her hair and was losing weight. So she would wear this little skull cap over her head. The new homegirl is like, I shaved my head too, like in solidarity for her having cancer. And then she posted it on Facebook and was like an Angie Warrior or Angela's Warriors or something like that. Just like, yeah, we're going to fight this together. Girl, it was giving me secondhand embarrassment thinking about this girl knowing full well she don't have cancer for real. You didn't let this girl shave her head. And I guess the girl was probably like, no, I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? She probably fought to shave it. But it's like, you let the girl shave her head. You let the girl put it on Facebook with this stupid hashtag, knowing full well ain't nothing wrong with you. Anyway, it's moving forward. They trying to figure out what's going on. They supporting her. He cooking for the girl. All the stuff, right? One time the boyfriend kind of just pressed his way and went to cancer treatment with her. They get there. He was like, I can go. She was like, no, it's okay. Just stay out here and I'll be back. He's sitting out there in the lobby. He looking around like, this ain't really giving chemotherapy. This is giving something else. I don't know what it's giving, but it ain't giving that. So he go up to the front desk and he's like, so yeah, if you don't mind, what different types of chemo do you do here? And the lady's like, we don't do chemo. Oh, she's just getting a mole removed from her foot. Oh, God. So he like, no, wait a minute. Huh? He kind of confronts her and says, this is not chemo. This is for, what she do? She get mad. That's a part of the process is they have to remove this mole off of my foot. Like, but he kind of like, man, I call cap. He wasn't buying it. Then the homegirl that shaved her head, she said one day she was over to the house and she kept adjusting this hat, like kind of fixing this hat. She was thinking, well, it's probably just because she's self-conscious that she's lost her hair. But when she looked at it a little closer, it's like, this girl is pushing hair up in this hat. She pushing hair up in there. When she said, then the girl said, oh, this thing got more hair than I do. I tell you, I hollered because she like, ain't this some, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Now, my homegirl that I was talking to on the phone was like, oh, this group, that ex-boyfriend, this boyfriend and that new friend, they wasn't way off of maternal instinct, baby, they was like, oh no, we're going to address this directly. So to talk about the footage that I said they had, they got together with a group of people that this girl had lied to and did this intervention and recorded it. When I tell you it was Oscar level cringe, it was a level of cringe that had me like, oh, because I was laying in a bed. I was laying in a bed watching this. It made me just want to slide under the covers and cover my face. Here come this girl Angela walking in this room of all of these people that she done lied to, and she like, what's going on? The boyfriend like, come on in here, come in here. She was like, no, what? He was like, come on in here. You got some apologies to give because baby, you didn't lie to Olive. Come sit down. And when I spotted this girl had on this little stupid Party City looking wig, it was like she was selling it. It's like, oh yeah, I got on this wig. The wig was so, I was just like, oh God. And it was like, let me see your port. Let me see your port. She did not want to. So she ended up leaving. But it's just, I'm telling you, watching this stuff, it really makes me wonder, what is wrong with these? It makes you wonder how many people are walking around like this. Because what dawns on me is a lot of stuff that's going on the inside of us. You don't really know what's going on unless something happens, right? You don't know if you are sick unless you start getting symptoms of being sick. So you're not going to go have a scan just for sport. Some got to go wrong for most people to go get a scan. I feel like with all of these documentaries coming out, everybody needs to go have a brain scan. Like, let me see what that frontal lobe talking about. Because these lies that are not hitting you and you don't seem to be moved by the level of lying you're doing and you don't have any fear of being caught, that is crazy to me. What is going on? Let's move forward back to 2016 because all of that stuff happened in 2013. Now we're going to go back to 2016. The police show up at the ex-girlfriend's house and says, hey, you're under arrest for, doing this stuff, sending these pictures, harassing this girl, whatever. She pregnant, gotta. They take her to jail. The girl's family is like, dude, what is happening? What's going on? For what? Why are you taking her to jail? Coming up with all this stuff. Nothing is happening. She's sitting in jail. They trying to figure it out. She's fighting for her life because she can't really figure out, like, how I get in it. Like, I'm telling y'all, I did not send this. They have footage of when she did kind of this deposition and the police was kind of like, hey, listen, if you did any of this stuff, I need you to just tell us because if we figure out you're lying, that's going to make it worse and we can use it against you in court. They ask her about the emails. Did you send these emails early on about this Lilith girl, yada. The ex-girlfriend said, yes, I did. She said, I don't know why I did. She was like, I've read a lot. I'm into these stories. I've been into this stuff since I was a kid. She was like, I don't even know where it came from. I just purged all of this stuff on paper. I don't know why I did it, but I did it. So she was truthful about that. She ended up being in trouble. Well, in this process, the husband, which is this girl's ex-boyfriend, at the house cleaning up, these pregnancy tests with these blue markers where this girl been marking on these pregnancy tests to make it look like she is pregnant. The girl ain't pregnant. Again, what is it with the cancer and the pregnancy? What are we doing? Why are we faking pregnancies? Like, why? The thing about the faking pregnancy thing, cancer is something that you can probably fake for a long time. Like, you can't start the cancer lotto at stage 4. Now, you got to start at stage 1, so you can have some time for it to progress. And then, because if you start at stage 4, it don't really give you enough time to be faking. None of it should be fake. Let me say that. But, I could see cancer maybe because there's more leeway. Pregnancy, you got 9 months. You're going to have to wrap up the lie in 9 months. Your stomach ain't going to be getting up, all the things. So I don't understand the whole pregnant thing. Like, why do we keep lying about being pregnant? And she was like, baby, I'm going to hit them real hard. I'm going to be pregnant with twins. So he finds these pregnancy tests and he's like, Wait a minute. Hold up. This girl might be sending herself these emails, right? Like maybe she's sending herself the emails. They started looking into it, and it's like, did you made this up? Whatever, whole thing, bam. Next thing you know, she in court. She pleaded guilty to, I can't even remember what the girl pleaded guilty to, but she pleaded guilty to some stuff. Let me see. On January 6, 2017, Angela pled guilty. That's the new wife. The ex-girlfriend's name is Michelle. I don't know if I said that, but Angela pled guilty to all the charges. She pleaded guilty to fraud, false imprisonment, I got this stuff written down, and false crime reporting. She got 5 years. They let Michelle out, which is his ex-girlfriend, because they like, oh, you kind of set this girl up. She didn't do none of this. So this is the point in which I was thinking, they gave the whole thing. They had the words come across the screen. I'm like, well, that was good. In my mind, I kind of made note of the fact that the documentary was an hour and a half. And so I was watching and doing other stuff. But then I was like, dang, that hour and a half went fast. Golly, was that an hour and a half? So I kind of swipe up. I'm like, it got a whole nother 40 minutes. Like the thing is, oh, what else they going to be talking about at this point? Baby, here come the twist for your... It's a twist. The Department of Justice, because the guy Ian is a U.S. Marshal, they have to come in and look at the case again and kind of see the details, because up to this point, the city of Anaheim was dealing with the case. So they just gonna go take a second look at it and make sure everything is on the up and up. They start to look at the case and they like, no, wait a minute now. Hold on. They call Michelle, the ex-girlfriend, and she starts to unload information. Like, let me tell y'all what happened. So Michelle starts telling them about when they first got together. She was young. He was cool. They were together about 3 years. They were going to move in together. They were going to get like an apartment. And it was his idea, why don't we just buy something? The plan was that she was going to put the down payment down and he would do the mortgage payments. Cool. Or help with the mortgage payments. That was the agreement. Well, he started bugging out, started tripping on her a little bit. She couldn't go anywhere. He was like, where are you at? She was like, it just felt like he could see everything that I was doing. She would go somewhere near the house or just leave the house, and he would call her and be like, where are you going? Where you been? And she was like, how you know I left? Oh, I'm just down the street. Oh, I'm at my mom's house. And then he started saying he's seen people outside the house doing stuff or felt weird, so he was going to put cameras at the house. The problem is the cameras that he put at the house wasn't outside, they was inside. So it's like, don't you want to see? No? Okay. So he was keeping up with her. This thing that was supposed to be a gift, like buying this house or whatever, buying this condo, turned into a cage because now she paranoid. He watching everything she doing. She feeling stuck. And she decided, you know what? I can't do this anymore, because he flipped out on her one time, like just lost it on her. And she left, and the only place she had to go, because she didn't have any money at that point because she cleaned out her savings to put a down payment on this condo, she went to her parents' house. This joker was calling and texting her nonstop, calling her parents, saying crazy stuff, just all of this crazy stuff. And she was just like, I felt like I was losing my mind. She didn't know whether up was down. She was starting to lose touch with reality. She didn't know who was watching her. Is it him? She didn't know. As time went on, she was like, this guy is trying to push me out of this to take over. He's trying to steal the condo from me. He doing all of this because he want to take this condo from me. She was bugging about it. So Department of Justice is looking, going, that's abusive and that's illegal, and you calling this girl's parents and you just breaking all the rules. Like, you shouldn't be doing none of that as a U.S. Marshal. They were talking about how he would be doing stuff when the police was coming over to kind of figure out what was going on. When he was with his wife, he would have his gun out, like, and throw his badge on the table, kind of like communicating without doing it with words. And so he was just abusing his power all the way around. But the longer they looked at it, they were like, this might not even be about the girl Angela that's in prison. This is his idea. They started looking through his computers, his work issue computer, and kind of looked through the stuff, and they found the emails from that Lilith, whatever. He was the one doing it. He was the one doing it. It's like, I mean, it was just thing after thing. I'm not giving you every single detail, but this one is worth a watch. The twist is worth a watch. And it's just kind of like, what are we doing, y'all, when it comes to the lies? And I want to know the mindset, like what is happening when people feel the need to lie like this about cancer, about pregnancy, about, it was disturbing, the level of lying this man was doing. And just them together. And you know what else too? Oftentimes over the years, even when I was young, when I would see something on the news and it would be like, 5 people, just say 5 people went in and robbed a bank today and such a, I would always ask myself the question, how do you find 5 people that agreed to do something as stupid as this? It used to confuse me. So in this, I'm like, how did this dude find this woman, this lying lady that had faked cancer and pregnancy and all of that? And then he's just as big of a creep and a weirdo. So they line together. And even when you think back about when you look at the body cam footage that they played on there, when you watch it the first time around, even the one where she was talking about somebody walking up behind and pulling her, all of that stuff, that looked fake to me. It was her performance in that situation that looked fake to me. But when you look at the other stuff, it looks regular. She still kind of looked a little shaky, but it looks like, oh, okay, they just giving the facts as they know them. When they played them back the second time, you see that this guy is co-signing on all the stuff. So if she says, and then somebody knocked at the door, he'd be like, yeah, they knocked on the door real hard. You remember they kept ringing the doorbell? He would be chiming in and adding, like kind of ad-libbing in the back, probably because he knew how he needed to sell the story because he's a U.S. Marshal and whatever. But it's like, you kind of leave the documentary confused because you're wondering, so did y'all get together and come up with this stuff? The girl needed did she really know? Did he kind of play her into sending these emails, or did he play her into getting, because he was a little off, right? So did he pressure her to do all of these things? Because she did plead guilty. She pled guilty. And it's like, I was a little bit confused in the end. The ex-girlfriend ended up, she was in prison for like 88 days before they figured out that it was the new wife that had done it. And the new wife pled guilty. So why would you plead guilty to something like that if you didn't have anything to do with it? It's just, it's so weird. I don't know. It's like, what are we doing? So the girl was, the ex-girlfriend was in jail for 88 days, or in prison for 88 days, and ended up getting, they didn't give the exact amount. When they said it on a documentary, I was like, oh, I'm finna go find out how much it was. But apparently it's they didn't, it was under, what is it called? It was, they had an agreement not to share or disclose what the settlement amount was. They had an agreement to not disclose what the settlement amount is. That's what I'm assuming happened, because I looked through several court documents and I couldn't find a number in there. the so but they said that the ex-girlfriend that was in prison for 88 days got a multi-million, well, they didn't say multi-million dollar. I take that back. They said a significant settlement from the city of Anaheim. And when I was reading through the documents from the court, essentially what it was saying is any type of detective, like just a little peon detective, could have seen when they were doing that there's not enough evidence to put this girl, there is no probable cause for her to do this. Like there's you can't find within a reasonable doubt that without a reasonable doubt that this girl did that. Like it wasn't making any sense. So a detective never would have brought those charges because it was just too convoluted. It wasn't enough evidence. And because of that, she sat in jail for 88 days. Baby, 8 hours is too long to be sitting in prison for something you didn't do. So 88 days, she was like, yeah, run me my money. And I ain't mad at her at all, right? Here's another thing. I said, see, and this is the reason to me that people are able to consistently get away with this kind of stuff. The friend that worked at Disneyland with Ian, this girl sat up in that thing after the dude was in prison. She was like, you know, I just really, the guy from the Department of Justice was like, she never said outright that she was in love with him. And I don't know that I got that at first, but just something about it is just off about he believed that the girl was in love with him. Whether they were together or not was, you know, like I don't think he thought that. He just thought this girl is really in love with him. And she said in his documentary at the end, it was like, I just have a hard time, because why would she plead guilty? I have a hard time believing that that he did that. And there is nothing, I just have a hard time believing that he did that. And there is nothing that he could do that would make me stop. I still support him. And I'm like, I'm tired, baby. I am confusion. Because why? Like because it's always this one person that is, what is that? I understand supporting somebody, right? I understand supporting somebody. I do, because I have friends that, you know, if something came up really crazy about them, I'd be like, what? Like, I would be trying to examine the circumstances. Like, it would have to be something so left field or something crazy that happened that made them do this weird thing to make me go, oh yeah, they probably did that. But to me, there are certain signals and signs that make you go, I don't think he would do that. But it would have you going, maybe he would. Maybe you would just be playing back, even if it's hard for you to believe. Even if you're going, no, I don't want to believe that. But like all the evidence is there. It's like, okay, girl, okay, you don't believe he would do that. Okay, so explain why this particular email, why is that in his computer? Why? Why was he doing all of this weird, crazy stuff to this girl, to his ex-girlfriend and her parents? And they can vouch for that, and they got receipts for that. And so how do you explain that? The gag is he was doing all of that stuff before he ever met old girl Angela. So he been on some bull. This don't have nothing to do. So who was helping him then? Who was doing it then? It's just like, girl, put on your goddamn thinking cap. It's just like it was given a pick me energy. Like, I am going to support you to the very end. And he going to get out and he going to clean out your 401k and he going to be busting you upside your head. And you going to be finally with him like you probably been wanting to be this whole time. And then you going to want us to feel sorry for you and then to be part 2 of this documentary. I cannot, it's always like, girl, huh? I don't, the longer I go in my life and I'm just looking at the world as it exists right now, and I'm just like, people have lost the ability to critically think. They kind of believe in anything. The information is right here. Right here. And you like, no, it's giving Bird Box. Like, please open your eyes. You don't have, another thing too is, I'll just speak for myself, right? I can't really think of a time where I've been scammed. Let me think. I think will remember. Right. I think what happens in these situations is people get taken advantage of or scammed, right? And it's a little embarrassing. It's like, oh God. So people don't say anything. They take the L and they move on. They just, it's like, dang, I got scammed. They don't want nobody to know. So they just keep it moving. But, just because it's like, dang, you just feel less smart. That allows for the scammer to keep going. It allows for the scam to keep getting legs and nobody's saying anything. Because think about it. For me, the pieces started really coming together when you realize that this new wife was lying about cancer. Right? And, back in the day, like several years before, 3 years before, it's like, okay, that kind of speaks to character. And then this guy, when you think about how he was handling his ex-girlfriend, how he got the money for the down payment and how he started stalking her and how he put the cameras in the house and all of this stuff, it's like, okay, that too. But apart from those details and nothing really solid, that a girl with the beanie on, I don't know what was happening before 2013, but you don't just start telling, I don't think you start telling them type of lies just overnight. Like, tried it. No. You didn't got practice. That girl probably been lying since she was a little kid about little minuscule stuff. And then slowly, and now here you go, pregnant with twins and had cancer 3 years ago. And then, why when the police called her and said, hey, do you know somebody named, and to ask her about her ex-boyfriend. I didn't make note of what the ex-boyfriend's name was. But do you know somebody named such and such? She said, oh yeah, he's an ex-boyfriend of mine. And they said, well, were you like sick at one time? Like with cancer or something like that? She was like, no, it was talk about it. They were saying that I might have cancer, but yeah, no, they was like, did you do chemo or anything? She was like, no, absolutely not. Girl, she just, I don't know. I don't know what we gonna do, y'all, because these people are out here walking among us. Yeah, y'all check this out. I know I took y'all far, but check it out. It's really, really good. It's a twist. It's a twist in that thing. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Follow me on all socials, Instagram, Facebook, all of them. TikTok, I'm at Toni Estes, okay? I hope you enjoyed. Comment down below what you think if you watched it and what your thoughts are, okay? Talk to you soon. All right, bye.